Hey groupies, welcome back to Form of Therapy and to another listening party. This is for ATEEZ's Zero Fever Part 1. Now, as a preface, I know a lot of you have been waiting for this, and we are changing up our listening party format. I find it that I want to do a more comprehensive review to do these album listening parties, but it's harder to do a comprehensive, in-depth review when you listen to a song only once. And I find that my opinion and things that I notice and pick up on a song, it takes, honestly, multiple 10 to 20 listens to fully appreciate a song. And so, to do more in-depth reviews, I am splitting up reviews and listening parties. Our listening parties are going to be reserved solely for reactions, and I know some of you guys only honestly come for the reactions, and that's completely fine. But for those of you who come for the reviews, I want to do it justice. I want to do the producers justice, and I want to not waste your guys' times. And I will give you like my first impressions, for these listening parties. But overall, the whole process of this is about you guys joining me on this journey, sitting back and relaxing and just listening to this album with me. All right. So we are going to be checking out Zero Fever Part 1. And we've got 7 tracks on this album, but we have already done a music video reaction for Thanks and Inception. So that means we have only 5 tracks on this album. So we're going to be checking out Dear Diary, 2016 0729, Fever, To the Beat, Good Lil Boy, and One Day at a Time. All right, so we're going to be starting with Dear Diary, 2016 0729. So let's get into it.
"29th of July. Weather is clear. One adult asked me, 'What is your dream?'
Sounds like a trailer for
As if
Kingdom
my dream
Hearts.
explained who I am. When I said I had no dream,
This is like how every
the look
Kingdom
on
Hearts
the adult's
trailer
face
starts,
was
I
like
swear to
the
God.
child with no name. The look was familiar to me. Though studying wasn't much of my taste, I tried my best. Parents were fond of joy when I brought good grades to them. Walking on the same path at the same time, I continued my life with no expression. Many books tell me, look at the stars in the night sky and become the person who shines bright like those stars. But the stars that I looked up in the sky did not shine at all. So I continued to walk, looking down on the floor. Suddenly, a strange thing happened to me. As I was walking, a child came up to me and started talking to me. There's nothing on the floor to look at. Raise your head up. This child was a bit weird. The child looked at me with a bright smile and had a pure glow from its face, but it seems like this child had the same expression on its eyes as me. From that moment, we started to hang out a few times. Turning up the music and dancing together was the most exciting part of our hangouts. For the first time, I actually felt alive. Hearts pounding like it's about to burst out, and this tingling feelings coming up from my fingertips started to take over me. Was there a moment when I wanted something this bad? One by one, more children started to say my name. The path that I only walked with one another person became a path to many. Slowly, the word I became ours. Wandering around with this unknown fever, as we looked above our heads, stars seemed to shine bright. Today.
I love how it kind of evenly flowed into Fever.
풀어야 할 문제처럼 눈앞의 모든 게 다 두렵기만 해 나 그리고 너 You 열변을 앓고 있어 나 그 같은 어둠 속일까 저 방황 끝에 우린 어딜지 그 누구도 모를걸 주거진 거리 틀린 떨림 So I gotta let it go
별을 따라와 내 죽은 넘어져 부딪혀 포기할까 생각 그치만 no I don't know 잡생각 집어쳐 부딪히고 치는 삶에서 도망가자 빨리
알긴 뭘 알아 내 고통은 딱 나만 알지 누가 알아 아픔 따위 넘살이라고 불러 Mayday 마주본 세상이 난 괴로워
No more no more no more no more yeah 이 모든 게 두렵기만 해 별 수 없이 잡을 수 없기에 나를 보며 자신을 나타내
끝에 우린 어딜지 그 누구도 모를걸 주거진 거리 틀린 떨림 So I gotta let it go Patient young fever
Wow. I gotta say, you know, last year ATEEZ put out a summer album. It was all right, but you know, I don't have an album reaction for that. Not because I didn't like it, but because I wound up having it just entirely spoiled for me in somebody else's car. But I feel like listening to Fever, I can hear a very distinct difference from this summer song. This is very much a summer song to last year's summer album, where this feels a lot more refined. I can tell that from last year there has been such a leap in improvement. I prefer Fever so much more to something like last year's Illusion or anything on that album. Really, I think Fever, I know a lot of people like that album, but I think Fever personally beats out anything on that album. I think the one thing I really like about Fever, though, is it's really emotional. It's really nostalgic. There's something about Fever that's, it's not necessarily sad, but it's got this hint of just like, I don't know. It's got a sort of never-ending, sort of eternity kind of feeling about it, you know? It's the kind of bittersweetness that you feel when, let's say, the end of summer is approaching, you know? That kind of feeling of like, you don't want summer to end, but you know it's coming to an end. And there's like this still sense of celebration. You're still celebrating the summer, but there's still this kind of like weird kind of sadness about it of like, I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, I've only heard it once, But I immediately connect to Fever a lot more because there is that emotional element to it. Okay, next up, we are listening to the Beat. Very interesting opening.
Yeah, 계속 뺏기고 뺏기니 참 부끄럽지 애써 더 보여줄게 배로 죄다 비슷한 새끼들이 넘쳐 난리 아주 칭찬해요 두 배로 이렇게 생겨버렸지 too many twins 뿌듯하지 모두 화이팅 우리 남겨같이 우리 춤을 출 테니 날 따라해봐 여러 개
빨리 멀리 손잡고 돌아지고 한 바퀴 Welcome my boys 너 크게 소리 질러 비가 Let it shine Let it shine Let it shine
확 미쳐버렸다
가짜는 나이들 저래 여기에 오지마 픽 내가 밤의 경계는 내려 내 몸에 후두두 힛 어디에라 빛이 난 몸에 스치 여긴 뜨거워 난 더더 여기저기 어디 둘러보는 너네 목기면 모두 다 같아지 이제 막 분위긴 끝없이 올라가 전부터 들었지 근데 너 뭐가 다 불만이야 그렇게 배알이 골리니 자격지심이지 이미 우인다는 위치 뭐니 해봐 너 전부 우리가 알게
빨리 멀리 손잡고 돌아지고 한 바퀴 Welcome my boys 너 크게 소리 질러 비가 Let it shine Let it shine Let it shine
확 미쳐버렸다 따라해라 모두 다 I'll make you say wow
To the right To the right
다 미쳐버렸다 나를 멈추지 마라 I'll make you say wow
To the right To the right
규칙은 너무 여긴 chaos 그리고 우린 out of control
I'm in love
Okay. That is I'll give it this crown. I think based on all of ATEEZ's discography, To the Beat is probably their most different song. And it's even hard to call To the Beat a song. I think it's their most different song because it's not written to be like most of their songs. Most of their songs, I would say, are written very much like pop songs. To the Beat is closer to something that feels a little bit more like a underground rap track more than anything. I mean, after all, the players here that shine really are Hongjung and Mingi. Seems to be a largely rap-driven song. Now, I am doing this listening party live on Twitch right now, twitch.tv/formatherapy. And people are telling me that it's actually a diss track for their haters, which makes a lot of sense. But honestly, a lot of this song shouldn't work, or at least personally for me, there are a lot of elements in this song that I think if they had done one thing different, I think I might not have liked it. I think even that giant mechanical bridge at the end, you know, where it just sounds like they put a fork in a garbage disposal and just like started grinding it. Even that portion, I think if the song, I think that if the song had not built up in the exact way that it had, I would not have liked that bridge. Even the false drop in the chorus, I think if it was anybody else, I would not have liked that false drop. I mean, I notoriously kind of am disappointed by false drops, but you know, one of my favorite ATEEZ B-sides is actually Holla Holla. And Holla Holla also notoriously has a very different chorus drop, sort of like a false drop. And I feel like ATEEZ, something that they do really, really well, is kind of like that false drop, but it works. Now, I'm in my review, I'm probably gonna listen to the song a lot more, probably go over the lyrics, but first impression, I like it a lot. I like it a lot. All right, next up is Good Lil Boy.
달려라 달려 더 빠르게 숨이 턱까지 차오른다. 달려라 달려
Song's got a lot of swagger already.
Hey little boy, why you look down? 똑바로 봐, 불을 뜯고 같은 배경에 속지 마라. 더 강해져야 해. 세상은 바보가 아니야. 중간이동 가실패 먼기가 펑 Not on my way. Everything is just a moment, baby. 정신 꽉 붙지 마라, baby. 아리고 따가운 바람 속에 부딪혀지기는 계산 위에 신백행 조여매고 거칠 것도 없이 세상을 내 것처럼 다 두 주먹 꽉 쥐고 두려울 것도 없이 너만 나를 봐 little boy. Get ready for the new day, we go right. 지금부터야 나를 봐 little boy.
그러지 세상에 울리는 벨 힘박 주고 달려갈게 어쩌면 이곳은 깜깜한 트레일러기에 올라온 우리의 트레일러 따가운 빛 밤이틀 비친 내 모습과 빛 틀린 팔자 돌려 무한대로 너와 바꿔내 메비우스의 D
그래 착하게 사는 거 정해진 길 따라가는 거 1부터 10을 다 아는 거 그게 뭔데 너의 기준은 바로 너 아리고 따가운 바람 속에 부딪혀지기는 계산 위에 신백행 조여매고 거칠 것도 없이 세상을 내 것처럼 다 두 주먹 꽉 쥐고 두려울 것도 없이 너만 나를 봐 little boy. Get ready for the new day, we go right. 지금부터야 나를 봐 little boy. 조금 더 크면 다 알 거야. 지겨워 그런 말들도 What should've known이라도 want it. 지금은 너일 거야.
우리가 간다 우리는 가 말리지 마라 말리지 마 우리가 간다 우리는 가 말릴 테면 말려보던가 우리가 간다 우리는 가 말리지 마라 말리지 마 세상은 바보 아니고 바보 우리가 바보 아무나 그냥 가
신백행 조여매고 거칠 것도 없이 세상을 내 것처럼 다두 주먹 꽉 쥐고 두려울 것도 없이 너만 나를 봐 little boy. Get ready for the new day, we go right. 지금부터야 나를 봐 little boy.
Whoa! 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 The structure of this song, it definitely, it's all over the place in a very good way. And this song, the best way I can describe it is the song, the structure of the song itself is very much a journey. When the song starts, what you see is not what you get. And the song does not go in any sort of traditional direction in which you think it'll go. I think one song that like really blew me away, like in terms of like the arrangement, I liken this sort of to B2B's guitar. Like when that song starts, you think, oh, it's going to be one type of song. And then the way it keeps going and the way it accelerates is a different type of song. What I was already thinking at the beginning of the song, yes, this does have like that Western, old saloon cowboy type of vibe to it. And it starts with a sort of swagger to it, right? Like if you listen to this, sort of like it has that kind of like slow swaying swagger. It's a very ATEEZ type of swagger. Previously, when they had their pirate concept, they very much had that swashbuckling swagger. And here, it kind of has that slow progression of like, you know, kind of like the old cowboy theme. And given the pre-chorus right here, this pre-chorus right here, na, 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 I expected a completely different chorus, especially because ATEEZ, ATEEZ does a lot of choruses where I feel like they do big, loud, sort of slower, kind of powerful choruses, you know? They really take their time. They really fill out their sound, right? But here, the chorus, it suddenly just went from 0 to 60 real quick. Like if I was watching a music video, it's as if they're like in an old cowboy setting. It looks like it's the past. You know, there's horses and stuff. And then all of a sudden, when the chorus hits, they're riding a horse, and then zipping past the horse is like a fucking Ferrari. And all of a sudden, they're in a car. And it's just like they suddenly accelerate the song. Like they take like a very quote unquote old Western cowboy concept and they modernize it really quickly. The beats in the chorus are insane. It's insane. Wow. Wow. I like Good Little Boy a lot. Okay. Last song is called One Day at a Time. Pretty sure that was a Netflix show. Oh, busting out the flute. It's not a flute. It's similar to a flute.
It's how to escape your worries. If you wanna hide, then losing your mind, you gotta lean on somebody. I'll be there somebody for ya. Doesn't matter, don't matter. When you're feeling under pressure, say the word, I'll be there. Cause you can reach me easy whenever you like. Hit me up DM, tweet, call me over time. Till we're free to meet up for a coffee and a smile. See you one day other side. Don't let it get you down. It's gonna end, no doubt. I'm out here holding my breath. I just can't wait to see you again. Oh yeah, it feels like it's been forever. Counting down the days. When it's overwhelming, hold on tight, I'll be here. Don't forget it. Cause in life sometimes we need a helping, and you'll be alright. Just take it slow, one day at a time.
It's like borderline lo-fi. Love the beat.
If you think you're trapped, you're in that box about yourself, I'll help you break it. I'm gonna catch you when you fall away, you're sinking. And when it gets the most, I'm overthinking. Don't look back, let it go. Just keep calm and carry on.
Yeah, they talk a lot, but I ain't tripping. Tryna drown us, keep us streaming. What we have, stay in the moment. We can't stop, just running beyond it.
Put it all up, we can pull up. Yeah, we can give up, it's about luck. Yeah, we go on top, all they say, look.
Wow. 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 So, one day at a time, full English. Very well done. It's very soft, very warm, very comforting. Love the melody. Na 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 na. Love the melody for that. It's really, I mean, the song is very comforting and all that, but like from just like a production standpoint, the melody is very, very catchy. It's very interesting that ATEEZ largely does not have slow music. They might have a few, but largely their discography is largely basically party, dance, war music. Their music is so largely aggressive and loud, and to have a song targeted towards their fans, and make it slower, which goes against their usual style, I feel like is very meaningful. I think the song, the lyrics of what I could catch sounded very meaningful. Of taking things slow, taking it one day at a time. I really like their use of how simple the instrumental actually was. It sounded borderline like lo-fi. It has a very warm sort of feeling, this sort of feeling that kind of envelops you, But yeah, that's it for Zero Fever Part 1. I want to do definitely a thorough in-depth review for this album. I definitely want to listen to Fever, To the Beat, Good Little Boy, One Day at a Time, many, many more times. I think when I do an in-depth review, I want to break it down into segments. Segments of like, I'll go through like each track, like talk about each track, but then I kind of want to do different segments like most replayed, like my favorite song, but my most replayed song. Because here's the thing, when I do these listening parties, I'll say like, oh, this song was my favorite, but the song that was my favorite sometimes is not the song that I play the most. I don't know if you guys ever have run into that before, but like I'll be like, oh, this is the best song on the album, but then I'll go listen to a song repeatedly that is not like my favorite on the album, and I'm like, oh wait, was that not my favorite? Like, I don't know, I feel like there's a difference between acknowledging what is the best song on the album, but also sometimes I'm just a basic bitch and my replayability is different, So I want to have different corners on my review like that. So if there are any different corners on my review that I should have, like different segments, like beyond just like what I think of the track, if they're like, what's your favorite track? What's your most replayed track? If there are any other segments you want to see like that, let me know in the comments. And I'll take that all into account. And, I want to try and structure and format the review so that it's, more structured and actually has a format rather than just me speaking out into the air. But, yeah, that is my first impression and listening party for Zero Fever Part 1 by ATEEZ. Thank you very much for watching this video. We are currently filming and streaming this live on Twitch. So if you guys would actually like to join our listening parties live next time, I might be just, if I have to do a listening party anyways, and I'm not really going to be focusing on the review part, I might just be doing these album parties live in the future. So if you want to follow, we're on Twitch, twitch.tv/formatherapy. Links going to be in the description if I remember to add it. If not, well, I just told you the URL. So go ahead and follow me over there. If you want to support us, visit us at patreon.com/formatherapy. Patrons get first dibs on our listening parties. So, yeah, if you want to check it out early, head on over to our Patreon. Anyways, thanks, y'all, for watching. I'll see you later.